The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that, if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
Hey kids, welcome back to Roto Talk.
Okie dokie kids, welcome back. So we start our fuselage today of the neat little tunnel thing. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to start placing some bulkheads. We're going to do the boat side. So when you pull your bulkheads out, you're going to see you might have little pop-em outs. Those are just pop-em outs. You don't need them. Okay. And this is pretty straightforward. Where is my activator? I'm getting low on activator. That can't be good. All right, so what we're going to do first, we're going to take bulkhead 4. I always do mine. This is our bottom sheet, and if there's any pop them outs in there, pop them out. Okay, and I always do number 1 to my left. It's just the way I am. If you want to build the other way, that's fine too. So I build my numbers facing backwards. So we're going to do 4, and then we're going to do 5B. Which is a bulkhead for 5B, and then a laminate of 5C, which is where our engine obviously is going to mount, okay? But you can see there's no tongues on this one. So that one's going to sit flush, this one goes inset, okay? So there and there and there, and then we're going to put 3 and 3 there, 2 there. Where the hell did 1 go? There it is, 1's there. Okay, and what I didn't sand these off perfectly, the laser. I just got little bits off because we're going to CA this entire thing together. Super glue, CA glue. I'm going to use medium. I did not sand number 2 yet. So see how that laser burns real dark? Annoying sound. Okay. That's good. You don't need to sand the little tongs there because those aren't getting any glue to them. Alright, and let's just make sure that bulkhead 2 is going to be proper that way. So they're showing the front of the boat. Yes, that will be on the right. Okay, good. Just checking. You see this picture right here is kind of... There's your rear bulkhead. And there is bulkhead number 2. Okay. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's that little slot right there. That is on the right side of the boat, or the starboard side. So we're good. We're good. All right, so I just sand a little bit because we are going to reinforce everything with epoxy later. So the first thing we're going to do, sand those little bits and bobs off. Grab yourself some CA. Grab yourself some activators. Looks like we still got enough here. I'm going to grab a new cap. I use these glue caps for all they're worth until I can't get them unclogged. Then I pull the needle and use it, but I want my needle applicator for this. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to use a square, and I believe the kit comes with a little wooden square, a little triangle. Okay? I use my 3D printed ones, whatever blows your skirt up. Okay, so we're going to do just a wee bit. Nothing fancy. We're going to put that in, put our square up against it, make sure your notches are in the board. Your activator will find its way in there. Just give it a second. Very simple to do. And if you're using medium CA, which I am, I might even switch over to thin. If you're using medium, it takes a little bit longer to cure up. But my medium's really seen its day. I think I'm going to switch over. It's been exposed to air for too long. So we're going to use thin. Now, with using thin, I don't necessarily put it on this edge. I'll actually set it first. Okay? Because the thin goes real quick. All right. Perfect. All right. Again, this isn't final build here. And then we're just going to go on down the line. We're going to leave those there. Next thing it says for you to do. Now this one I'm actually going to use a couple 3 clamps. I'm going to take some CA. I'm going to do the laser side of this transom doubler. Man, been a busy day today. And I'm going to CA glue the hell out of this. All right. And then I'm going to clamp these together and literally let that cure on its own. Okay. So very simply, no activator. I'll shoot with activator in a little bit, but I'm going to let it soak. And you can, if you want to, you can use wood glue on this. But I'm not going to break that out for this. Get the schmutz out. Another clamp. Okay. Then I'm going to hit it just like that. Bada bang, baby. Now we're going to glue our sides in. Then we're going to finish out our bulkheads. Very simple. So I shot this with some activator. It should be good enough for holding purposes. And the insides are going to cure nice and slow. Okay, good deal. Then we're going to take these, same sanding function, and we're going to line these up with our notches. And how I do these. Okay. Kind of need multiple hands here. Just going to do that number. Square it up best you can. Just like that. Now, if you're using thin CA, which I don't really recommend, I would use medium whenever you can. Medium's has got a better stick, but my medium, I'm doubting it. But a trick to use with this stuff is to actually spray it first and then apply the CA glue with the thin stuff, because the thin stuff flashes super fast, especially with activator. Okay, so like for instance, I can spray this side.
Do I feel lucky?
Make sure I'm squared up. Done. It does work. Make sure you're down and flush. Okay, and that's it. Now we're going to rinse and repeat. I'm going to keep going up here, real easy. Then I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to do it off camera because it's just a little bit easier. And then we'll put in the rest of these bulkheads. Be right back. I swear, if I ever go to commit a crime, I'm going to build a boat with thin CA glue first. You know why? Because I lose every fingertip. I'm holding stuff together, and anyway. All right. So number 3, it says in the manual to make sure your little stubbies are sanded off, which I did not. Better to sand them now than when they're in. Okay. And the manual says the 3 should face out. So no need to really use a square on this one because it squares itself up. Just make sure you're holding everything good. Well, I should say. And the other thing the manual says that I am not doing, which you should, is put down wax or parchment paper underneath this frame. So when you're doing what I'm doing, you don't glue it to the damn bench, which I'm sure I am. It's all right. That. Okay. All right, then we're going to put in 2. Exact same thing. Got 4 notches you got to fit into. This will help you realize if you're square or not. Should slide right in. If you're not blind as a bat like I am, it will. Okay. And make sure you're good and flush. good and flush. Yeah, baby. All right. And the nice thing about thin CA is it's so thin. Just right into the wood. Okay. Now we're going to take our one, and that one's just going to butt up against these guys here, just like that. All right. Now, making that square, not really that important because it's pretty flimsy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hold it at the ends, make sure the notch is in. This is how I usually lose fingerprints. Now, thin CA will go right through that crack right there and right down to your board, so be careful about that. Okay. And that is it for that segmento. Yeah, I'm not even glued down. Nice. Starting to look like kindling. All right. So, be right back. Next bit is the radio box sides. Okay. So again, here's the front of the boat, here's the back of the boat, and this is how these, I believe, are going to go in. Okay. So it only goes in one way. You can't screw this up. As I say that, there's a distinct possibility I will, because it's me. That's what we do. So what you got to do is fiddle fart around until you get all these slots in and everything nice and lining up. Okay, that one's all right. That one's almost all right. This one's not even close to all right. Let's see here. There. Okay. A little tricky. So you want to try and get the bottom slot first of the boat itself, of the pan. There we go. Okay, that's good, that's good. That's good. Good and good. Yeah. Oh. That's good. Okay. I'm having a little bit of, got some laser burn in there or what? Or I'm not in the, there we go.
Resistance is futile.
This is kind of tricky right here. Okay, now make sure everything's good. I know this is tedious to watch. Believe me, it's tedious to do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take CA glue and we're going to run beads along this inside only. That's it. I'm going to look on this side. I don't have any gappage too badly. Okay, move it where you can see it if you can. The nice thing about building little boats, this is a very tiny boat for me. The nice thing about building little boats is you can move stuff around. You can figure it all out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our medium and we're going to run a little fillet. The manual says only, and I'm going to do a little bit in that corner too. Only do the bottom inside. Okay? Again, this is very, very simple to do. Not rocket science. It's not the space shuttle. Just make sure all your tabs are lined up. If your vertical tabs are going in, that means your bottom tabs are pretty much set. Right? Otherwise, it wouldn't fit. There we go. Yeah, baby. Okay. Not but a peanut. All right. Bada bang. Same thing with the back. Don't push out too hard. You don't want it to go out a square. I'm going to put a dot there. Just because that back gave me a little bit of pain. Okay. We're going to let that sit for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. All right? I'm not going to do that on camera. You get the idea, left and right. symmetrical. So we'll do that, and we'll move on to the next bit. Be right back. Right. So the second one went in easier than the first one. So now we're going to put in our deck support struts. So F6, 7, 8, and 9, both sides. Okay. Now all these do, they add a little bit of support to this rather thin bit here. But what they do is they add a mount for our decking. How these are going to roll. F6 is front, F9 is back. Same thing with the other side. This is front of my boat, back of the boat. Okay? We're going to kick it up, and they should fit between the bulkheads, just like that, on the inside. And all these are for two things. Support for the battery box, basically, and a mounting surface for our skins when we put our top skins on. Very important. They should fit just like this. Okay? So we're just gonna, I'm gonna literally leave it just like that. I'm gonna hold them down. Try it again on the top like I just now did, like an idiot. Just gotta remember, you gotta, this is thin though, it's okay. You're going to, or you can put it on the other side too. So if you want to do it this way, you could put CA glue on the side. But I'm just going to use thin because I'm going to reinforce all this stuff anyway. Make sure they're sitting reasonably flush. Again, not going to break the bank if it's not absolutely perfect, because it's going to be holding on our skins. So if you wanted to do it like, take some medium, I was using thin earlier, put it along the edge. But trust me, once you seal this thing and do all that jazz, it ain't going anywhere. Okay, and I'll just use thin again. Doesn't even matter if it moves. Edge. Just make sure it's flush and sitting all the way down on the bottom. Okay? And repeat, rinse and repeat for the other side. Very simple to do. And that's it. So now you've got a surface to lay. Let me grab a top. One of your side skins now has a place to glue to. How happy are we now? Look at that. Okay, very nice. Going to look just like that. All right. So, do it any way you want. Use epoxy, use wood glue if you really want to, and clamp them in. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to do the other side exactly the same way. Now, one word of caution. Definitely sand the nubs off the bottom and any nubs off the top. It's much easier to do it now than later. Okay? I promise you that. So, I will do this other side. Be right back. All right, so for the next bit, I guess I'm building the electric version. I'll have to buy a motor and an ESC. I was going to build a nitro version, but Joe asked me if I would do an electric version, which I know squat about electric outboards. I've got the conversion kit, but I don't have the motor, I don't have the ESC, so I guess I'll have to order that stuff. And I do have a nitro engine. Man, I'm tempted. I don't know, we'll see. All right. So, you're going to take these little U-shaped jobs. This is the battery box frame and two LS's. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this laser line as an outline. Okay? And this is going to get glued to the boat as well, eventually. Not yet. I'm going to use some medium CA. We're just going to line it up. Going back to that kindergarten stuff of shape fits, and that was a little bit much, wasn't it? Woo! And crooked. That's okay. It'll work. This is going to keep it from falling in. Ah! See, that glue's bad, dude. I think my glue is just literally, that medium C ain't worth a shit. It's been uncapped for too long. That's alright. We'll do an epoxy seal on this one instead of using normal sealer. Okay? And then what I would recommend you do is we're going to go this way. Do these ends first. So we're just going to do this. Line it up to that laser line. Oh, come on. I'm trying to be an idiot. There we go. For some of us, that's difficult. Let it cook for a minute. I am ordering new CA tonight. My medium bottle's been exposed too long. Okay. We do the same thing with this side. Good enough. Like I said, I'm going to do an epoxy sealing on this when I seal this part, at least. So I'm going to be sealing it with thinned epoxy. So it'll hold together just fine. We're not going to rely on CA glue to hold shit together. Okay. Then, this top bit should, yeah baby, line right up. Okay. Bada bang. Try not to lose your fingerprints. Okay. And there you go. And now if you did shit right, this little lid bit, take off the laser burn, should fit in there perfect, like that. Okay? And if you did shit right, should fit in your boat right here, just like me. This, get it? Bada bang. And your steering comes out here, cables go back, I'm assuming. I actually haven't read the instructions ahead of time. I'm going along with you guys. So let's see what's next in the devil. Oh, servo racks and all that stuff. Front mounted servo. Alright, so I'm going to have to read ahead, I think, because I still haven't decided if I'm making this electric or nitro. Let's let the crowd decide, because I've got all the stuff to make this a nitro, I think. And I have most of the stuff to make it an electric. What would you guys like to see? Now, we've got the Crazy Irishman up here, which I call the Lucky Shit. It's got shit on the back. That is an outboard, 3.5 K and B, and that's an awesome boat. So I do already have one. You've probably seen that one run on the channel. But I'll leave it up to you guys. Whatever you think. Should we make this an electric outboard or a nitro outboard? It's going to be a 3.5. It's going to be that size no matter what because of the size of the boat. Now, we can kind of get a glimmer here. Just a glimmer. Okay. Perfect. Just like that. Okay? So, till next time, keep dry side up. Bye.